The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
If you've won multiple national championships with Texas Tech on your Xbox, you've come to the right place. Red Raider Sports lives on Double T 97.3.
Do you have an Xbox?
I do not have an Xbox. I think you know that.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
if I went and played a game, I wouldn't want to play with Texas Tech because I know I would be terrible at it, and I wouldn't want to watch them lose.
Wouldn't want to watch them lose. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. No, I'm right there with you on that. I don't have one. I don't have anything against anybody that does. I mean, you know, we all have our hobbies.
Right. Yeah, you do you.
Right.
It's not my thing.
It's interesting. Coach McGuire was asked what it's like having his son on the staff, and he said all the right things. And he said, usually he said I'm not a yeller in the spring, just in terms of coaching hard and things along those lines. And apparently, he and his son have a similar voice, which makes sense. And apparently, his wife thought he was yelling, and it was his son. And some reporters in the room thought there were times when they were out there that he was yelling, and it was his son. He said one of the things, and I thought this was interesting. It's candid, but he's just talking about his son saying, he said he probably has every play in the history of football on his computer. And it's probably a bit of a stretch. But he said, if somebody wants to know, hey, that play that Jerry Rice used to run, he said he's got it on his computer, and he can go show it. And he said, so he goes, look, we don't have a whole lot of hobbies. he goes, I play golf when I can. He goes, but when I come home, we talk football. And I thought, well, it probably makes sense. I mean, there's probably not a whole lot of time for hobbies, stamp collecting, coin collecting, going out hunting, playing golf, whatever it is that you want to do. So he goes, we talk football.
I would guess that has a lot to do with the whole recruiting cycle of that it just really never ends. And you're constantly, having to look for the next guy and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
no. And I'm guessing that he's probably no different than most of the coaches in America at whatever level. They're like, I really don't have time for a hobby. And there's a lot to be said for a lot of people that don't necessarily have a hobby. And so when you kind of get to the end of things and you're like, okay, well, what am I going to do when I retire? Well, I really don't have any hobbies. You can only go to the coffee shop so much.
What's Chuck Heinz' hobby?
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. I'm gonna have to come up with some things. I mean, I like going and being in my backyard. I like, barbecuing and stuff like that. But there's only so many briskets you can cook in a week, right? I would guess so. Unless I'm cooking them for all you guys, But nobody's. I feel like that if I cooked a brisket for you, you'd say, "Oh, thank you very much," and then you'd go home and you'd say to your Mrs. Chuck cooked this brisket. Just throw it away. We're not going to eat. We're not going to eat that.
I don't think that would happen.
You don't? Like if I cooked a brisket for you, would you share it with the fam and you guys give me a critique and all that kind of stuff?
Sure.
See, right? I know better. I know better.
We've had this conversation many times before.
Yeah, I know better. You brought this up, and I had actually emailed myself this article last night to talk about it. I think it's fascinating, actually. The college basketball transfer portal is still open, and it doesn't close until next Tuesday, the 22nd. According to a report by Front Office Sports, over 2,000 NCAA Division I men's basketball players have entered their names into the portal. That's 35% of all players. 35% of all players feel like the grass is greener somewhere else. With regard to one team, Their entire team is in the portal, and that's Baylor. Their entire team.
Either in the portal or exhausted their eligibility.
Yeah. 9 have hit the transfer portal. 4 have exhausted their eligibility. 1 is going pro. None have stayed. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't get some of those guys back. That doesn't mean that they're not going to have a team. They're not gonna, but they got nobody. I mean, it's just that's crazy.
Doesn't seem beneficial, right?
No.
I mean, where you're putting your pieces together and kind of finishing up around the edges, they're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Hard to imagine that's going to put you in a great place.
So far, their recruiting class for 2025 has just 1 member. And then it's complemented by a 5-man number 13 transfer portal class in the country. The Bears currently have 6 players on their roster. So they've got enough to field a team, okay, because you only need 5. But you want to have some rotation with your roster as well. So they're gonna need some more fellas.
Thanks, James.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But that to say that that's abnormal is going to say, well, no, that's.
Yeah, I don't know. That's really, Chuck. If it is, I mean, just crazy, right? I don't even know if it is anymore.
Yeah, but I think the stunning thing for me is 35% feel like they can do it, have a better opportunity somewhere else in their current place. That seems like a really, really high.
I completely agree. It seems high, but I'm not shocked by it, I guess. Mm-hmm. I'm not shocked by it.
Yeah. So at any rate, that's kind of the case. Some Texas Tech baseball news, and he said this on his radio show, Red Raiders Baseball with Tim Tadlock, and he reiterated it this yesterday in his press conference, getting ready for Arizona State, where the Red Raiders will play in Tempe Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Excuse me. But TJ Pompey is done for the season.
Yep, really, really disappointing for TJ, disappointing for the Red Raiders as well. They could definitely use that bat in the lineup, that's for certain.
Do you think he has or will have to have surgery on that wrist, or is that just something that heals with time?
I would guess is a heals with time kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I really have no clue.
And apparently they could use
just the fact that they didn't have it immediately says to me that they feel like it just needs time.
Yeah.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Today is Wednesday, April the 16th, 2025. Here is Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
Starting in 1929, New York Yankees become the first Major League Baseball team to permanently feature numbers on the backs of their uniform. Guess what those numbers were associated with?
They were associated with where you played in the field.
No.
Oh, okay.
Where they stood in the lineup.
Batting order.
I
think you told us that last year.
Yeah. 1940, Cleveland Indian pitcher Bob Feller hurls the first and only opening day no-hitter in Major League Baseball history. And, of course, he beats the White Sox 1-0 at Comiskey Park.
Of course he does.
1959, Major League Baseball Philadelphia Phillies Dave Philly gets a Major League record 9th straight pinch hit, having ended the previous season with a streak of 8.
Dave Philly for the Phillies.
Yes.
That's what I was just about to say. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Wow.
I think it's more crazy that he can't get in the lineup after getting 8 straight pinch hits.
What would be the most likely last name for a guy who played for an MLB team? Like, if we had a Josh Ranger playing for the Rangers. Ranger is a decently normal last name. I feel like I've seen that before.
Okay.
Decently normal. Which one?
I mean, we've had a Steve Sachs. It wouldn't be hard to have a Steve Sox. I mean, it's
Sox.
only. I don't know.
I've never heard of anybody named Sox though.
Cardinal.
Yeah, Cardinal.
Cardinal.
I mean, Cardinal works.
Cardinal.
Yeah. Weirdest one might be athletics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you take the S off. You can take the S off.
So they're an athletic.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Athletic, right here.
All right, you keep talking. I'm going to go on the list of MLB teams and see if I can figure it.
1987, Michael Jordan becomes the second NBA player in history to score 3,000 points in a season.
He was good.
Just a few years later, in 2003, Michael Jordan plays his final game in Philadelphia with the Wizards, where he receives a 3-minute standing ovation. And in 2021, the number 8 Texas Tech baseball team jumped on West Virginia early and rode a terrific start from Patrick Monteverde to a series-opening 7-2 win over the Mountaineers in Morgantown. In 7 innings, the Pittsburgh native allowed just 2 hits and struck out 5 to earn his 6th win of the season in front of a large contingent of family and friends who made the short trip to see him play.
I was going to say, I bet he had a lot of people there, and he did.
They were loud and proud, and it was fun to watch them get behind Patrick that night.
I liked how when the Terrible Towels made their appearance here when he was pitching. That was fun at that point, too.
And they were yellow because he's a Steelers guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The answer to our little question is your team.
Royals?
Royal. That's the most likely last name.
Royal. Okay.
Of any MLB team. Yeah.
Happy Day of the Mushroom.
And
National
mushroom.
Eggs Benedict Day.
No, I'm out on that too.
There's so many better ways to make eggs, in my opinion.
Pretty much the only kind of eggs that I enjoy are scrambled or in an omelet.
Which is just scrambled with cheese.
And no cheese for my omelet, please.
So just an egg.
Well, and then,
stuff.
And stuff, yeah.
Okay. Happy birthday, Martin Lawrence, who's 60. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 78. Bill Belichick, 73. John Cryer is 60. And Bruce Bochy is 70 today.
Wow.
And on this day, 1947, a giant explosion occurs during the loading of fertilizer onto the freighter Grand Camp at the pier in Texas City, Texas. Nearly 600 people lost their lives and thousands were injured when the ship was literally blown to bits. By 9 a.m., flames had erupted from the hold, and within minutes, it exploded. The blast was heard 150 miles away and was so powerful that the ship's 1.5-ton anchor was found 2 miles away.
Whoa.
The force of the explosion lifted another ship right out of the water. People working at the docks were killed instantly. And that is this day in sports history.
What year, Jeff?
1947.
And you said they were loading on what?
Fertilizer.
Onto a ship, yeah.
It was military cargo, post-war, where we weren't quite paying as much attention to regulations and worrying about safety. And they were loading fertilizer, tobacco, and something else. And someone lit a cigarette. Something got hot in the hold. They didn't want to put water on it because they didn't want to ruin the fertilizer. And it exploded.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was right up the road from where I grew up.
2 miles away, that anchor.
2 miles. A 1.5-ton
Yes, the
anchor.
weight of those things.
This is not a light anchor.
Right, no question.
This is throwing a pickup truck 2 miles.
Wow.
That's this day in sports history.
I feel like you were lucky that only 600 people lost their lives.
6:51 this morning here on the morning drive. Somebody says this, I've never seen Ray's as a last name, but sounds normal.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or Ray. Just Ray. Yeah, because you can drop the S.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ray is one. Yeah, that would be one.
Yeah.
I've known people with the last name of Ray.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see this from the Yates Warning Center chat line. It's that time of year, ... when Chuck asks if the other hosts want him to make a brisket for them. Little early this year, but no surprises. That's why we love you, Chuck. That's from The Godfather. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Godfather. It's a little early this year. I try not to make this Groundhog Day. I mean, I realize that there's times when I do make it Groundhog Day, and I'm trying to be a little better about that. Repeating the same stories around the same time each year. But That's why we have new listeners. So if we have new listeners, then I get to tell them the same stuff.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So it's for the benefit of the new listeners why I tell them stuff from, like if you've heard a story before, it's not necessarily for you. Mm-hmm. It's for Bob, your new next door neighbor that's just moved to Lubbock from Sheboygan. Bob doesn't know everything.
Welcome, Bob.
Yeah, right. Welcome to Lubbock. Okay. Just trying to, keep the folks up to speed as to everything that we have, going on here in our little corner of the world here on Double T 97.3. Okay. So thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that of the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Last year, you had quite a bit of interest in the NBA and the Dallas Mavericks specifically. Do you find yourself back to normal in terms of not paying that much attention to it, or do you think you'll get amped up with the Mavericks? They play the Kings tonight, 9th place versus 10th place in a play-in game.
Yeah, I found myself interested when the Mavs got to the Western Conference Finals. And at this point, I don't find any interest, really.
Okay.
If I'm being honest. I think you were wanting me to be honest.
Yeah, no, I always want you to be honest. I mean, I feel like that you are honest. I mean, the Heat and the Bulls play tonight.
Yeah, I don't do fake very good.
No, you
very
really
well.
you don't.
I just would prefer to be honest.
Somebody wants to know if my brisket is better than Choice's. Do you really have to ask that question? I mean, I've never had his. I'm just telling you, I'll stake my life on my brisket.
And now we know the reason that Jamie turns down the offer. Not here to judge. Just want to eat food. Just want to eat food.
Yeah.
But we want to make it into a contest. So
I know. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
We just say thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. 6:55 this morning. Here on the morning drive, we'll have Ranger Baseball Game 2 of that series tonight. Rangers won last night 4-0 over the Los Angeles Angels. That'll be coming to us from Arlington, 6:30 the broadcast time, 7:10 or so first pitch here on Double T 97.3.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
On the morning drive, good morning with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Texas Tech baseball in action tomorrow night. They open up a series against the Arizona State Sun Devils. Tech 11-21, 7-8 in Big 12 play. Take on an Arizona State team that is 23-14 and 9-6 in conference play. We'll have the broadcast for you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with play-by-play at 8:30. Ooh, man, it's a late night for you, man. I'm sorry.
Is what it is.
It is what it is, right? No, I know. This will
much tougher jobs.
Yeah, right. Oh. Right. We're not breaking bricks. We understand that.
No ditches will be digged.
No ditches will be dug. Right? Yeah.
No, digged.
Digged.
Yeah.
Okay. This game will come to us from Phoenix Municipal Stadium. You guys played there last year too, right? Or was it 2 years ago?
Last year.
Kind
of did.
Kind of did.
We were there.
Kind of did. Just didn't go extremely well. What stands out to you about Arizona State?
On Big 12 play, they lead the conference in batting average. They lead the conference, or they're second in the conference in runs scored in Big 12 play. They've got 3 or 4 hitters, back from last season that just absolutely massacred you last year. And they're really good hitters. Their bullpen, I think, really stands out at you. They've got a lefty that has started that's got it was rated as, I believe, like the number 2 left-handed pitcher in the draft. He maybe hasn't been quite as good, but he's going to challenge you. So this is I'm surprised. I'll be honest with you. I am surprised. I know they are about where they were picked, in the conference as far as preseason. I'm surprised they're this low. I think they're a much better team than 9-6. I mean, for them to lose a series at at Cincinnati last week was a big surprise for me. I think they're a better team. I have felt all along like they were one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the conference. So we'll see if that ends up playing out. But it starts a stretch here for the Red Raiders as far as Big 12 play goes. And, you and I have kind of talked about the fact that you had a chance, with Cincinnati and Baylor on your schedule, hey, at home, that, okay, you finally get some home games and got to take advantage of that. Well, you just went 3-3 in Big 12 play in that stretch, and now you're at Arizona State, who's 5th in the conference. You're home for Arizona, who's 3rd in the conference, and then you're on the road at West Virginia, who's number 1 in the conference. So it's about to get really tough for the Red Raiders here. Yeah,
and then you come home, you face UCF, and then finish on the road in Provo against BYU. So the notion that the schedule gets easier is not the case this year for the Red Raiders at all.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anybody who's claiming that.
Yeah.
The schedule is not getting any easier.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you kind of look at that and go, oh, hey.
Once we get past West Virginia, you'll probably say the schedule is a little bit easier because you're playing 2 teams that are near the bottom of the standings. But right now, there's nothing. There's no easy buttons right now.
Yeah.
This is Red Raiders need to, they're going to need to play well to keep pace here over the next 3 weeks and keep themselves in the, in shouting distance of the top of the conference, and hopefully in shouting distance, or maybe create some extra distance between the bottom of the conference.
So if he announced this yesterday, I didn't see it, but do you have a sense of what the pitching looks like for Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Mac Hewer is going to start on Thursday. He is going to be 1 day short. Zane Petty is going to stay on normal rest, and he's going to pitch Saturday. They haven't announced who they're going to pitch on Friday.
Or Saturday, you mean?
No.
Oh, Petty's going to pitch Saturday.
Correct.
I got you. Friday, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Friday, and he went on to say that they still got 2.5 days to decide that. There's a lot of different options for the Red Raiders, and he said that he expected it to be somebody that hasn't started yet this year.
Oh.
And then he did say, well, unless it's Connor Mohan, and he started for us. So, we'll see who that is. I guess that means Lucas Perko, who started on Sunday, would be out, I guess, of that conversation, which was a little bit surprising. I know he wasn't great on Sunday, but I thought maybe they would give him another shot. But maybe it's a Zach Crotchfeld. Maybe it's a Trendon Parrish. Don't think it'll be Jack Siebert. Don't think it would be Jack Siebert. Now, if Mac Hewer went, 8 innings and you were or 7 innings and you were either way up or way down and you didn't use Jack Siebert at all on Friday's game, it wouldn't shock me to see Jack start on Saturday.
Okay.
Asked about Jack Siebert yesterday, Coach Tadlock said, it may happen. He may end up being a starter at some point during the season. He may start a game, but we are not going in. We do not want to go into a series without him available in our bullpen. Again, so if you didn't need him on on Thursday of this week, and you're still wondering who you're going to start on Friday, I think that could be a possibility.
Especially because you feel really good about, even though he didn't have a good outing previously, you feel really good about how Zane Petty has pitched for you this year.
Yeah, I mean, he, like you just said, he was not good on Saturday, no doubt about it. That was his worst performance of the year. But, I mean, if you go off of the body of work and not just one game, he's had a very good season.
Yeah.
So I think that you would take that possibility. Yeah. Or maybe I'm completely off on that, and you start somebody on Friday and say, hey, we're going to bring Siebert in, and if he gets in any kind of trouble, and say, Jack, see if you can finish the whole game.
Yeah.
Ended up throwing, 95, 94 pitches, I believe, last weekend between Friday and Sunday. So I would guess that he'd be ready to go on Friday.
What kind of problems does their pitching pose?
Yeah, I mean, their offense is better than their pitching staff, so I think the opportunities are there for the Red Raiders. I mean, I don't know what else. Your challenge that they could strike us out, or they could make us into a double play. I mean, I don't think they're elite. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't. Well,
because you spoke glowingly about their hitters.
Yeah,
and so they're.
It's a team. It's more about their offense and their pitching.
Okay, so so there's. If you could get into a run scoring battle with them, and it's not like you're going to get mowed down by their pitching.
Yeah, I don't think so. I would probably put their bullpen ahead of their starting rotation, just looking at the numbers. But it feels like, Hewer and Petty are going to need to pitch well, if you're going to win this series. But you can say that every single week about your starters, right?
Yeah. So we'll have the game for you tomorrow night at 8. Balls and Strikes at 8:30 tomorrow evening. So you might want to get a nap tomorrow. In the afternoon or early evening, so that you can stay up and listen to Jamie and Jeff here on Double T 97.3 or wherever you are. Okay, right. So you can keep us entertained and all those kinds of things. Do you have a favorite hike scheduled for the Phoenix area, or is it just
I'll get there and then kind of figure it out. I mean, I kind of got after it pretty good last year, so I got to pick some different places this time.
I told you when we were there New Year's Day with the Lady Raiders, pulled up to the arena there, and there's all these hikers out in the parking lot. I mean, there's like a lot of them. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, you don't have to go very far. It's basically right across the road there from the football stadium and all that. Yeah, I mean, I was just stunned by the number of people that are up and about and out on New Year's morning. I know. There are crazy people out there that get out of their house. Get out of their house and exercise. I know it's a hard concept, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes it is.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, so I am going to spin off a question/comment from Mr. Clint Scott yesterday that I thought was a really good one. Okay. And so there's a spin-off. Jeff looks confused. Must have been because usually you're not very complimentary to him.
We're used to checking Chuck for drugs. I'm not used to having to check Jamie for drugs now. All right. Now I'm worried.
We are going to... This is a 3-parter.
Oh, man.
3-parter.
Take notes here.
Okay. We're talking Red Raider football and Red Raider men's basketball.
Oh, okay. A little combo. Little series crossover.
Okay, so here's my question for you. Number 1, which team do you expect to finish higher in the Big 12 next year? Number 2, which team has a better chance to win it all?
You mean like the national championship?
Yes. And number 3, which team has the most or more pressure on them to win now?
Okay.
3 parts.
Got it. Do I have to answer them in that order?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Are you just trying to fill a number? I mean, it's just like one of those, I want this to be 200 words or more.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. The team that I think will finish higher in the Big 12 is football. I think that you're poised to be in a spot where you're gonna play for the right to play for a Big 12 championship. If everything kind of goes like you think and people stay healthy, I feel pretty good about being in that 7-2, 8-1, kind of realm. And if it doesn't get you into the Big 12 championship game, it's going to get you third. And it's really hard to finish third in the Big 12 in basketball. I mean, I realize that you did really well this year, but I mean, just, back-to-back years, okay? The team that has the chance to win it all, the national championship, I'm going to say is Texas Tech men's basketball, especially with what you have coming back and what you have signed and kind of what your team expectation is, and the fact that you were a couple minutes away from going to a Final Four, albeit you're not going to have everybody back from that team, but you have a culture and a can-do spirit and a belief that you can get there if you just take care of your business a little bit, okay? We're not there with football yet by any stretch of the imagination. And the team that has the most pressure on it, it's football because of the payroll and what you've allegedly, reportedly, speculatively, put out there for your football program this year for your players.
Okay. Best chance to win the Big 12? Well, who's going to finish higher? Men's basketball. I'm done underestimating what Grant McCaslin can do from year to year. I'm done with it. He's going to win a Big 12 title next year. That's the expectation for what he has done and how he has been picked lower every year and then finishes higher every year. Best chance to win it all, men's basketball. They're already on the path. They've already made the Elite Eight. You have not gotten that far in football yet, and it's still a large mountain to climb that the Big 12 football has not been able to climb in quite some time. Mm-hmm. For number 3, who's got the most pressure? Absolutely, it's football. Football. Look at my muscly chest. Vote for me, football.
He's very direct today.
He is. He is. Okay, so I think the first one is the toughest one because I think both have a chance to win the Big 12 championship. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think both legitimately do. I think it's easier in football. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
So, and really, I mean, we're just talking about one school right now. I mean, if you saw the way too early top 25 for next year for men's basketball yesterday, you saw just one team in front of the Red Raiders in the Big 12, and that's Houston.
And they were ranked number 1.
Yeah. Okay. But because of that, I'm going to say football is the one that I think has the better chance to win the Big 12 championship. I don't think there's any question the one that has the better chance to win the national championship. I think it's basketball. You've just been – I know you only ended up in the Elite Eight last year, but it just feels like you were very, very close to winning it all last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know you didn't play in the Final Four or the final championship game, but that absolutely could have happened, okay, with that team that you had last year. And so I think that's the one that has the better chance to win a national championship. I just find it so interesting, and so both of your guys' answers were what I agree that it's football has the most pressure to win. Okay, but Jeff sits here and says, that you look at what that basketball. He's done underestimating them, and while they're about their roster and all the above, yet they don't have pressure to win. You say football has the pressure because of their payroll. Mm-hmm. We just paid a guy $4 million for basketball.
Right.
I mean, we're supposedly top 10 in the country in payroll.
I feel like, though, that
in basketball.
I feel like
football, you say because of their payroll, mm-hmm. they have more pressure. Why is it that we don't put the pressure towards basketball that we're putting towards football now? I think it may be partly because Grant McCaslin's still in some sort of a, I don't know, he's just done nothing wrong at this point.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to be critical of.
I guess I feel like that they have taken the money that has been given to them and they have accomplished something with it.
They've done more with it?
Yeah.
That's a fair comment.
Yeah.
They've got a lot more pile of good than what the football team has, which is why there's more pressure on the football team.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with both of your points. Okay. Yeah. And I'm with you guys. I think football has the pressure to win, even though I think basketball is the team that I look at and say, you should be winning the national championship soon.
You're close. You keep you keep hanging around. One of these days you're gonna find yourself in that spot, and you're gonna win it all. Cut down nets, all that kind of stuff.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
And what I would love to happen is the NCAA, and y'all probably heard this from other people, so this is not me saying this, but we're the only sport in college that doesn't scrimmage somebody either preseason or during the spring. Like our women's soccer team went and played A&M and I think it was A&M and Rice this weekend. And so what I would love to happen is if we're either last weekend or this weekend, we're going to Dallas and scrimmage in SMU, maybe practice on Thursday and have a controlled scrimmage on Saturday, it'd be a home and home. They come out here the next year, or we go to Texas or we go to A&M or whoever. I mean, that's what I would love to have, because I think we have a really good plan to make us better on Saturday, but we've been in spring ball since the week before spring break, and then we're going to come back, and our report date's at the end of July, to where we're going to start camp, and we don't play until August 30th maybe or whatever. So we're going to again, we're the only sport that does this, and so hopefully with Fran Brown and Dion kind of pushing it, that starts people talking about it, and hopefully by this time next year we have something like that.
That's Coach Joey McGuire last night at the Womble Center as he met with the Fourth Estate and kind of talking about things as Texas Tech gets ready for the spring game on Saturday. Good morning, Hour 3 with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. I don't know if they can get that kind of legislation done that quickly. Maybe, Jamie, what we should do, I would need a lawyer to volunteer his services or her services, kind of a pro bono basis, and we file a class action lawsuit against the NCAA for scrimmages for football teams in the spring, and cite some kind of disparity, and
it's keeping us from
enjoying
making money. It's limiting our earning potential of selling T-shirts at Clint's T-shirt stand.
Sure,
right outside the gates.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Of the scrimmage. Yeah.
Of the scrimmage.
Yeah.
And I think then the NCAA would go, we're gonna just lay down and go, okay, scrimmage all you want. Yeah. There you go. That's what it would take.
Yeah.
If we filed a lawsuit, then we would do that. So we need a lawyer to be able to come forth and offer his or her time pro bono, of course, because there's really nothing in it for us, and can't be anything in it for you, just other than you get the right to file the suit on behalf of us, the fans. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a good idea. I'm in.
And Dion's going to help get us there. Oh, gosh.
I'm sure there's a guy in town that, has billboards. We know what he does, so he'd be happy to help us.
Sure, I'm sure he would. Yeah. Heavy hitter. He's a football fan. Okay. So this from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. It's it's just from somebody. He doesn't have his username there, just his real name. Tech finished third and second in basketball the last 2 years. Also, how does Chuck keep predicting a good finish for football if he keeps saying the quarterback position is in trouble? I don't know that the quarterback position is in trouble. My point is this on this. You have invested heavily in every position, it seems like, on your football team. You have invested heavily in your south end zone. You're putting down new practice turf. You've spent, God knows, $500 million on that stadium over the last 25 years. All I'm saying is, it just feels like, to me, that you're putting an awful lot of eggs in that basket and hoping that everything goes right with the rehab and then with, getting into football shape and then staying healthy and all those things, because I feel like no matter how much you're going to run the ball or how good your defensive line is to be able to put pressure on the other team's quarterback, that quarterback position, if it's not the number one position on your team, it's pretty doggone close. And so I guess nobody else seems to have this sense of worry. And maybe I'm just being too worrisome about it, but I'm just pointing out that, hey man, there's not much wiggle room with regard to between now and the start of the fall, and making sure that your quarterback is going to be who you thought he's going to be when it comes time for those big time games in late September and October and November.
So with the folks over there at that hang out at the Jones, the coaches, the administration, all the above, the athletic administration, all the above, with as much riding on the season and the team that they have, you don't think those thoughts came through their mind? No,
I think they are. I think they have to be in their mind. Because if I'm thinking,
but they felt like we're good here. We don't need to go get somebody else.
Yeah. I do not have a dislike for Baron Morton at all. I like him, but I'm just pointing out that I'm just concerned. So I asked this question last night. Joey McGuire answered it to a degree. Here is the timeline for Baron Morton as he's getting into shape from a football standpoint and starting to throw to his receivers.
It's pretty cool. I think there's 2 Red Raiders that are transforming their body. Pat Mahomes, because I've seen some video of him, and Baron Morton. They both had dad bods, and he's starting to really change a lot. He'll tell you, man, we were talking yesterday, and he was like, just the way I've changed my eating habits and stuff, and he's going to, be able to talk about it. And then, we start throwing the football next week. So we've got, and he can tell you the exact timeline. We actually, they've given me the timeline. We know what we're doing, and we're talking through it tomorrow. But like today, he went through his medicine ball throws, and he said yesterday to me he hadn't felt this good since he was in high school. And I think it's a mixture. He's right around, last year he probably played around 220 to 221. He's fluctuated between 210 and 213, and probably because he's not eating as much Taco Bell or, Whataburger. But also, that he's really, this is it. This is his everything that he wants and his future. He's gotten serious and more serious over the years, but it's cool to see. So we expect him throwing the football next week, and we'll just progress that. And he can tell you exactly when he's going to Florida. We expect him to be ripping it like full tilt whenever he goes. So that's like maybe 3 weeks to 4 weeks away, maybe 3. I don't know exactly.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.